Hi, and welcome, viewers. Yeah, is it viewers?
Listeners.
Listeners, all right. Welcome, listeners, to our second in the series of our podcasts, Outside of the Box. Luke's not going to be here today. He's has career commitments, kind of. So it's just going to be me and James. And today's subject is the Palestine and Israeli conflict. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, James. I don't know much about it, so why don't you explain to me the conflict, when it started, and all the basics?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't know a great deal about it either. I know that it started during the 20th century.
19th century, didn't it?
20th century after the First World War.
They still had conflict between each other before that, though, right?
Yeah, but it was all part of the Ottoman Empire before that. They didn't really have the Israeli state. At least according to that YouTube video that we watched.
Yeah.
It all kind of started after the British started divvying up the Ottoman Empire after the First World War. And that's about what I know on the subject.
All right, so what is it? Jews versus Muslims kind of thing? Is that what we're looking at?
Well, it's more of an ethnic thing. Like the Palestinians who lived there prior to. You know what? I'm gonna end up talking wrong if I just start speaking off the top of my head. So I'm gonna Google it and just.
Is it podcast still right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, while you do that, I guess I'll tell people what's been happening in my life.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, all right. Well, I just moved into a new house that I had built in Ellenbrook. Oh, God, I shouldn't tell people where I live. Oh, well, it's a pretty broad area. Good luck trying to find me. The one viewer, listener, if you really want to find me. Yeah, so been doing that lately. Been moving stuff in, settling. We decided to do these podcasts every fortnight. One thing that hasn't changed from the first one, besides not having a week, is we haven't done any preparation once again.
As you may have guessed.
Yeah. So if you're still listening, that's pretty amazing.
But now that I have the Wikipedia page open, I can give you the gist of the nature of this conflict. So essentially, after the First World War, in fact, maybe even after the Second World War, the state of Israel was formed in the area, I guess, in the area of Israel. Independence declared 14 May 1948. Anyway, and as a result, the Palestinians who'd lived there have kind of been relegated to less and less territory in that area.
Yeah.
And after a war between the two, Israel has kept the Palestinian territories under occupation by their military, and they've clamped down pretty hard on the Palestinians. They make it very hard for them to get from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
They have all kinds of security checkpoints everywhere. And as a result, it's a lot of Palestinian, I guess basically terrorist groups, you'd call them,
yeah.
who are attacking, Israel. And every time they do that, Israel just kind of clamps down harder on the Palestinian territories.
Mm-hmm. They don't acknowledge Palestine to be a state, right?
Yeah.
So they feel they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So whose side should we be on, in your opinion?
Or
are they both equally?
Yeah.
They both have good points and they both have bad points.
I would say that, and I want to stay ambiguous here because I don't want to get labeled, a bigot or something for siding with any one particular side.
Yeah, no, we'll call it in the middle.
So, question is,
what outside the box solutions we have for this? How about Palestine, for the people of Palestine, just pack up and leave? Because things aren't going their way right now.
Well,
They won't even acknowledge them as a state. Maybe pack up and just head off. Pakistan? I don't know.
Pakistan.
Alright. Just,
All right.
I would
Well,
say, you know what? This place sucks anyway. You can have it.
let's throw this idea out there and see what other states in that region want to take however many Palestinians there are.
Because the Israelis, I mean, they're not going nowhere, let's be honest. So, there's one solution. Maybe they can just, well, I would say just agree to disagree and get along, but that's not going to happen. I mean, if it hasn't happened by now, I don't see it happening in the future. Both sides, don't want to give the other any sort of an edge. They just don't like each other. It's just like two neighbours that can't afford to move out, can only afford to live in their two apartments that are opposite each other.
But they just can't stand one
But
another.
they can't stand one another. They have conflicts here and there. It's just never gonna end until one of them leaves, I guess.
So, I mean, the most commonly proposed solutions are to, involve one side ceding some of their territory so that they each have kind of a big chunk of territory that belongs to them that's kind of joined, because the other thing is that the Palestinian territories are kind of fractured. They've got one area up here and then one area down here, and there's nothing connecting them. There's just this big old chunk of Israel blocking the two of them. So, I don't know, some kind of giant bridge between the two of them. Some kind of wall.
Get Donald Trump over there and get to war.
What about maybe a tunnel that goes underground connecting, the Gaza Strip to the West Bank?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the distance is between them.
A tunnel.
Yeah, a tunnel or something.
For what purpose?
So that they don't have to go through Israel to get from one Palestinian spot to another.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe, it's like they can just cut. Why doesn't Israel just take the Palestine side they have on their side and then give them a little bit more on the opposite side of that, and then build a wall there and say, you know what, put a line through the middle here.
That's true. There's this map that I'm looking at has this big spot that's apparently part of Israel between a spot just north of a place called Jenin, and it goes up to a place called Afula and then Nazareth, which,
Nazareth?
yeah, as in Jesus of,
Yeah.
and Tiberias. I mean, that looks like a pretty barren chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people probably live there. I mean, I could be wrong, but that could be something. Throw that to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Take Gaza back, and wipe your hands clean.
Someone needs to. I mean, I know presidents of the past have tried to come to an agreement and failed. Someone needs to go everywhere and say, "Look, lads, this is going too far. Let's just compromise here." Give them the tunnel idea.
Yeah.
See if they're interested in that. Say, okay, about war. See, if Donald Trump becomes president, which he won't now because of the grab it by the pussy thing, really hurt him. But then again, he might come back. He always seems to. You could go over there and say, "Listen, boys, let's get it together." Because I don't see Hillary Clinton doing it. She just doesn't seem like the type. She's not in your face enough like Donald Trump is. Donald Trump might even be able to bully them into, reaching an agreement. They can say, "Well, we dislike each other, but how about this jerk off coming in here, getting in our grill? Let's just get along so that dickhead doesn't have to come back over here and have a chat to us."
So you think that the best hope for a solution to this is for Donald Trump to be elected?
Yeah. I mean, if I was his campaign supervisor, I'd say, "Here we go. Here's a way we could spin it, Mr. Trump. Let's try this." He's so appalling to be around that.
You think they'll resolve their disputes just because?
So he doesn't have to come over.
Well, I mean, if you're an American and you're listening to
this, like two kids arguing with each other, and then the parent says, "Hey, if your kids don't, cut it out, I'm coming over there sorting you out." And they go, "Oh, we don't want that. We want Dad." messing with us.
And that's the end of that.
So,
It could work,
yeah.
but unfortunately, I don't see Donald Trump having a very good chance of winning this election. So I think hope for that solution is pretty slim. But now I'm looking at their borders, and there's this big area which I think the borders are kind of blurry between Israel and Syria here.
Is it because I'm sure I heard someone that they consider a lot of the land that Palestine wants and Israel don't want to give up is Holy Land?
Yeah.
So that's So again, it comes down to religion. Would you say it's somewhat of a religious war?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know if it's really that holy to them or if that's just kind of a pretense, an excuse for hanging on to it.
Holy Land as far as the eye can see.
But if I were Israeli, I wouldn't want to be living that close to Syria. So maybe this kind of chunk of Israel that's close to Syria, maybe
Syria is the Donald Trump of their conflict. Yeah, well,
put you near Syria and
it's like a bad neighborhood normally to kind of move into.
This is a big, I was going to call it a lake, but it turns out it's a sea of Galilee. I wonder if Palestine would like that. They gotta
compromise on it.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, maybe has it been bad lately? I don't know. I haven't really read many news articles on it.
What do you mean
Up
bad?
to date ones.
Bad, like violent?
Yeah, in the last year and a half. Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? I'm sure people do know. We just didn't do the research, so we don't know.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of recent news articles on this. If I just done one Google search before I came, I could have read up on this, and everything would have gone a lot more smoothly. But
probably not. I mean, when you're forced to study something so quickly, gives you no time to really process it. So generally, forget big parts of it, or you misinterpret some parts of it. So we just end up looking like we do now, unprepared anyway.
Yeah, I guess
so. Why waste the time researching it? Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, why not just try to solve it? Go in blind, basically. Wing it.
Do it on the fly. Like I say, just do it on the fly.
Well, what I want to know is,
I'll tell you, but it won't be factual.
So at the kind of border of this conflict, Jerusalem is probably the most disputed area because that's holy to the Muslims in the Palestinian territories as well as the Jews in Israel.
Yeah.
That's also quite holy to Christians as well. So is there any Christian side in all this? Wanting to throw their hat in the ring and try to scoop up some territory
as well.
Yeah.
Separate from Palestine the Muslim. Let's just instead of having Palestine versus Israel, let's just separate it into three religions here. So you got the Muslims, you got the Jews, you got the Christians. Give them a third of it each, the parts they want that they see as holy. And then put this all to bed. Then there'll be no Palestine, there'll be no Israel. We'll just rename it, I don't know, just Christian land, Jew land, Muslim land. What do you think of that? That's a solution. Let's sit down with the two heads, Israel, Palestine. Let's get this honestly, let's get this done.
As someone who personally is not a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good idea to me.
It's definitely outside the box.
Yeah. I'm sure it's definitely nothing that's been tossed around in a diplomatic meeting.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that's what this podcast is all about.
Exactly.
Ideas that the experts wouldn't even think of. Not because they're bad ideas, just because they're outside the box. You
can bet your bottom dollar that there's a couple of big wigs at the UN that are sitting down listening to this podcast right now and thinking, you know what, that could be the solution. We need something outside the box. That's what they need. They don't need someone in a suit with a degree saying, You could do this, do that. It's this bullshit gets passed around the room. And you get 9 guys in a suit with their fancy degrees. They work their way up. And they all have their ideas, their opinions. But they're all the same, really, in a way. You know? No one's really looking outside the box. I'm going to say that as many times as I can to promote our podcast on our podcast.
That podcast
No,
being
not enough
outside the
people
box.
is looking outside the box, is what I'm saying.
Well, as long as we're looking outside the box,
Yeah.
here's a really outside the box idea.
Go on.
So, I mean, if this does come down to a dispute between different religions,
Yeah.
why don't they just merge their religions? Forget Judaism, forget Islam, forget Christianity. Come up with one all-encompassing Musjuianity. Something. The name is a work in progress, but the idea is solid. I mean, it observes a chunk of each religion's, customs and beliefs.
Yeah.
But it's one, combined religion.
Exactly.
And,
if you could create something like that, just one permanent religion that everybody follows, just that incorporates every other religion and nobody disputes it, we've just created world peace. Just like that.
Well,
You're welcome.
forget the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Yeah, exactly. We solved everything.
Solved all of them.
Forget about it. Everything's good. Yeah. Cindy was trying to get me to go to a church with her. Apparently she goes Saturday nights instead of Sunday mornings. It's more convenient.
Isn't it in Burswood?
Yeah. That is more convenient. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I'd feel a lot better drinking the blood of Christ at night as opposed to in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
On off topic there. But anyway. Yeah, if we just merge them all, geez, that solve a lot of problems.
Well, I mean, I think we need to
You heard it first. Outside the box.
I think we need to sit down with the representatives of these religions, like the Pope and some rabbis and stuff. And,
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, Dalai Lama, and just talk about, putting all their differences aside and coming up with something that they can all agree on.
Yeah. Well, it's a holy war / war on territory / misunderstanding, I guess. They just need to agree to disagree. You should solve it all. Solve thousands, and save thousands of lives, just like that.
Yeah.
But then is that a good thing? Do we want to save a lot of people? No. Do we want to measure the world population if there was no war?
So you're thinking about overpopulation now?
Well, yeah. No, I'm just thinking aloud,
But
we'll save that for another podcast.
But it does
raise. Did we bring up overpopulation last podcast as well at some point with the homeless people?
I think we did, but it
So that's one for the future that we need to.
It raises a problem with our outside the box solutions because sometimes they're a bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, you solve one problem, like a war involves saving lives, and you end up creating a whole new problem.
That's good.
Too many people.
That means we'll never be without our podcast because to solve the problems that are caused from out of the box solutions requires more out of the box solutions, people. It's never ending.
Yeah.
No one's,
I mean, if you solve everything, we'd run out of episodes.
If you get a problem from a crazy solution, the thing that will solve it is an even crazier solution.
One thing that's just occurred to me is that I still haven't set up an email account for us. I'm going to do that right now.
While we're doing the podcast. Cool. Probably never been done before. It's the first in the podcast world.
It's the first live Gmail subscription.
Yeah. So we can't really give them an email on this podcast until you've set it up. So what are the ideas for names we're going with anyway? Let's get some.
What do you mean for
the email address? He's going to be looking to offend.
No, because we sort of have that, but I just want to find a podcast.
Outside of the box.
Outside the box. Outside the box is taken. Outside the box podcast is unbelievably taken.
Wow.
Outside the box podcast.
That's a surprise.
_1. Oh, okay, so underscore can't be used. Outside the box podcast 1.
Someone's outside of the box podcast. It's very unbelievable. That suggests to me that there's more outside the box podcasts out there.
Yeah, but you know.
So if you've downloaded us and you're expecting to get 3 Swedish men talking about outside the box solutions, get the Australian one. Sorry. Just like there's a UK top tier and there's American top tier, you know.
Yeah. We're the
No, we're the Australian equivalent to their outside the box.
we are fully licensed by them though.
Yeah, we are. If anything, we're better. If you like crazy outside the box solutions to problems, we have the craziest.
Okay.
And there's just a little bit outside the box, and there's just the box isn't even the frame anymore. That's us.
That's us. All right. So, just to let our listeners know, we now have an email address through which you can contact us, suggest topics for us to do, or comment on our show, any of your own ideas for solutions.
Please let us know your solutions, and if they're really good, maybe we'll read them out during our mail time, which is normally the last 10 minutes of the show. How far in are we at the moment?
We are at 24 minutes.
And how long were we making them? 45 minutes.
Last one was 40 minutes, but it came down to 36 once we clipped out the meatloaf recording.
Let's keep with 40. 40 is pretty good.
All right, so
how far are we now?
Yeah, 24 minutes.
24 minutes in, so we've got another 16 minutes to kill.
All right.
So I guess we'll do mail time in the last 5 minutes of the podcast or whatever.
Well, we can't really do it this episode because we just got the address.
Yeah.
I could read out some other emails I got with my personal account.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll save that for the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll come up with outside the box solutions to that.
All
One
right.
of them is, I know it's going to be from Diesel Jim.
Yeah.
But we'll tackle that one later.
Okay. But anyway, for those of you who want to email us, our new email address is outsidetheboxpodcast1@gmail.com.
Yep, there you go. Email in, and we'll put that on the podcast description as well. Please email us. If you are listening, the one person that downloaded us from New Zealand last week, if you're listening, please email us and tell us about yourself.
And please don't give up on us.
Yeah, don't give up on us. Just tell us about we consider all of our listeners friends.
Yeah.
Close friends of ours, so please email in and let us know, where we can improve. Or don't bother doing that. We know where we can improve. We're just too lazy to do it.
Well, we are working on it. We just got the email address. We're planning on getting a decent quality microphone at some point.
Yep.
So watch this space, and I think it'll come together nicely.
Yeah.
I think you guys are getting in the ground floor of something truly special.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. At least you can go around saying in 6 months' time, when everyone's talking about outside the box, you can say, "Hey, I was there at the very beginning. I was there from day dot.
I was back when they were solving little problems like world hunger and the Israel-Palestine conflict."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a little brag for you in 6 months' time. Anyway, should we get back on topic here?
Yeah, okay, so some more ideas about...
Well, about just one dictator to rule the whole 2 regions.
Do you have anyone in mind?
Forcing them to get along through the hatred and, severe discipline that they'll get if they don't from their dictator. There's an idea.
So like a Hitler type figure?
Like a Hitler, but,
But not
so crazy, not so deranged that he'll round up a race to try and kill them.
Yeah.
Or, someone that can be a dictator but not start a war with another country.
Yeah.
I like my dictators calm and relaxed.
Yeah, someone with a sense of reason.
Yeah, sense of reason. Dictator with a sense of reason.
Trying to think of some of history's more...
History's
greatest dictators.
There's a podcast in itself. What about Gaddafi before he went insane?
Yeah. Well, even, like a lot of kings during times of empires were pretty much dictators, but they...
Henry VIII.
Yeah, Henry VIII.
He was no Henry VII.
Oh, no. King Louis the 14th or whatever, 14th or 16th.
Genghis Khan was the dictator, basically.
Genghis Khan. You need someone like this who can.
Just name off the great.
I think really that's what the 21st century needs. It needs a Genghis Khan figure to emerge and sort out this mess that we've created for ourselves, not just in Israel and Palestine, but all over that area. I mean, look at what's happening with ISIS at the moment.
Yeah, don't worry, we're not going to do a podcast on ISIS.
But I'm going to name drop them here because it's happening pretty close by to Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, they definitely should be concerned about that. Maybe they should, redirect that hatred to ISIS.
You think Israel and Palestine should, put their differences aside and team up against ISIS?
Maybe. I mean, it'd make them look pretty damn good to the rest of the world, right? The western side of the world, anyway, if they want that, that's what they want. I don't know. You know what? Do whatever the hell they want. I'm sick of them.
Oh, well, here we are at 29 minutes in.
29 minutes. Alright. Well, I mean, I think we came up with the better outside the box ideas in this one. I think we've stayed on topic a lot longer than we did last week.
Yeah.
Last week was pretty average, Thanks for the one listener, but,
We were also put at a bit of a disadvantage this week. We've only got, 2 brains coming up with these solutions.
Yeah, that's true.
We had 3 last week.
Some could argue that the 2 brains has got the capacity of 6 men, but
they'd be wrong.
They'd be fairly wrong, yeah. Exactly. Right, well, I guess we'll cut it short this week. If we're pretty much done with our outside the box solutions, we'll do the email time.
Alright, well.
Which is basically going to be you reading out some of your emails. Because unfortunately, no one's emailed in. But please, any listeners, please email in. Just a hi. Here's a picture of me naked. No, don't do that. But yeah, do send us something. Just a hi. And what's your thoughts on just anything really? We're just desperate to get emails in so we can read them out in this podcast.
All right, so
James, go ahead.
All right, so this is a message I received on the 12th of October, which would have been Wednesday, from Frankie, last name omitted for privacy.
Yeah.
It says, "Hi James, it's Frankie here from Diesel Gym in Joondalup."
Oh, they're going to know who he is now.
Oh, just giving away his identity. Are you still interested in training Thai boxing martial arts? Frankie.
Do you have any interest in training Thai boxing martial arts at all?
No, not really, not anymore. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, which is all of our listeners, I did a free trial period at this Muay Thai gym in Joondalup.
How many sessions you guys?
Well, he recommended doing 3 in the week, but after the second session, my legs were pretty sore, so I couldn't attend the next one. And then also I had to house sit for my sister in Belmont, and I couldn't be bothered driving to Joondalup for it. So my interest just kind of faded away.
You ever really interested in doing it?
Yeah, I was kind of at the start. I did enjoy the first 2 sessions. I just, couldn't be bothered going back after that. And,
especially now that you're moving even further away.
Yeah.
To be less interested.
Yeah.
Though I seem to get down there and back in 20-25 minutes, really.
You're still going to Joondalup? I thought you were moving to the Ellenbrook one.
Nah, still doing Joondalup.
His talk really got to you, huh?
Yeah, you can just say put it that way.
All right, well, so yeah, that's the basis of that. Ever since then, and this was a while ago, once in a while he just gets in touch with me and offers for me to do a new free trial or something, but I thought those were all kind of automatically sent. This one looks like it was kind of handwritten, although I may be wrong about that. Yeah, so that's some, it's not some listener email, but it's
email
I got. Oh, yeah, that reminds me, I have a study group for Cantonese, and they were having an event tonight. Never RSVP'd to it. I wasn't sure if I felt like going or not. But
what's your thoughts on it at this point?
Where is it? Is the question. Depends how far I can be bothered driving. because I've already driven to the city today and back, and then to Ellenbrook, and later I'll have to drive back. Meet up with a group. And I mean, this study group have had 3 meetups since I've been a member, and I've missed the first 2, and this is
So
the third one.
who exactly is in the study group? Are they all Asian, or are they just Westerners that are trying to learn?
I think they're Westerners that are trying to learn. They describe themselves as Guaylo.
Okay. Explain the appearance and what's the backstory of some of these members. Why do they want to learn Cantonese?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I imagine, some of them look like they could be Asian, so it may be that their families are Cantonese speaking and they want to learn so they can communicate with their family members.
I don't think that's the case. You think that they were brought up to only speak English, and now their parents are going, you know what, we're gonna
not their parents so much, but grandparents, aunts, uncles, and all that family who maybe live back in Hong Kong or China.
Surely, I mean, if I had kids that I was Asian,
You'd teach.
I would have taught them Cantonese as they grow up. Surely, if you have grandparents or relatives that don't know English, surely.
Yeah, the kid may not have had any interest in learning back then. I don't know. It could just be people who are interested for the sake of it, or people like me who kind of started picking it up when they began working with people who speak Cantonese. Yeah, people who want to be on If You're the One.
I only put it on for a split second last night because I don't like the show. Just the people on there, they're just, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
And it was this guy that's like a black belt in martial arts or something, and he had a volunteer come out and hold a board while he broke it in front of the women, and they were like, "Oh!" So yeah, maybe you should take Frankie up on that offer if you want to be in the show. Just enough to be able to break a board, or better yet, why don't you just claim that you're a martial arts expert, get a board that's been previously broken and glued back together, and then just break it with a punch.
Just like Krug in that video, karate chopping the lemon.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could do that, but then there was also that...
That's an outside-the-box solution.
There was also that gangly guy talking about his collection of trading cards.
Yeah.
And all the women seem to be pretty interested in him, so...
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. I mean, the guy was one of life's winners.
People like people with hobbies, what can I say?
So what I really need is any kind of hobby that makes me...
Yeah. Do you even have a hobby? What is your hobby? They say, as a general rule of thumb, to live a good life, they say you should have 3 hobbies. 1 that keeps you fit, 1 that makes you money, and 1 that lets you be creative. Do you have 3 hobbies that allow you to do that at any point?
I don't have any of those.
So everyone of you are the ones like you get no flashes. This man has no hobbies. This is you.
I don't know. I'm just too lazy to really take up any hobbies, I find.
Yeah.
I like to read.
Yeah, I guess that's.
But that doesn't keep me fit.
Creative.
It doesn't really let me be creative.
You can make money if you read audio books.
How could I make money through that?
Reading. So you read. I mean, like make audio.
Oh, be a
audio book voice dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I really have the
if you're listening, and I'm surprised if anyone still is. But and if you read books and make audio books for a living, email them, let us know how much you make and what the rates are, because James might cross one hobby off his list right there.
And is my voice the kind of voice you'd like to hear?
And and if he does it while he's on a treadmill, that's 2. That's 2 hobbies, life hack hobbies with just 1 swipe. He's got a hobby that makes him fit, hobby that lets him be creative and makes him money. Is that creative? That's kind of creative. You could do funny voices for the characters.
I could do that.
You get 3.
All 3.
That's how you do it. All 3 of them. He could have lived a perfect life with just one book read on a treadmill with funny voices. What do you guys think of that? That's an outside the box solution. You're welcome.
Well, I'm gonna set that goal for myself, and in future weeks as I progress through that, I guess I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the episodes.
And if you guys are depressed and feeling down, maybe you should take that up as well. You could just nail it on the head right there. read a book into a microphone, do funny voices while you're on a treadmill, put it on the internet, charge for it. You're welcome.
Well, we've hit just about 39 minutes, so I
Yep.
would call that about a good time to end.
Wrap it up.
And-
Yep. So do you want to wrap it up? Or do you want me to wrap it up?
I'll wrap it up.
All right.
So, in conclusion, Israel-Palestine solutions, have some kind of tunnel or bridge or wall.
Mhm.
You
Or
could
divide it up through religion.
divide it up via religion, amalgamate their religion into one single all-encompassing super religion,
Give them another enemy. to
give them
focus
another
on.
enemy, to unite themselves, or have some kind of dictator take charge.
Yeah.
So these are the solutions we've come up with.
Mhm.
If you've got any suggestions for solutions to this problem or other problems that we could tackle, email outsidetheboxpodcast1@gmail.com, and we'll probably read your email out on the show.
Great. So
See,
from me, Nick, I'll see you next time, and from James.
yeah, see you in 2 weeks.